Hey yo, I'm Denis, and in this video I will explain you how to find ideal customer profile and product market fit for your B2B SaaS. Let's dive in. The first thing you want to understand is you want to be selling to the hungriest market, and that's pretty much the main secret. Now, how can we find the hungriest market? Check who has already bought from you. Many founders overlook this crucial step and they try to go in all different ways and directions to figure out, okay, like let's test this persona, let's go for another one. However, they never actually go through their buyer list to see who has already purchased from them. Please don't make this mistake. Again, we don't need to reinvent the wheel here, because if you have paying customers, they should be the ones who will be your radar in understanding who actually needs your product. Who are your most active users paying you the most amount of money? Ask yourself that. See your product analytics and check people who are coming back to your product regularly. In most cases, you'd need to optimize the product for those people who are logging in more than others. Then, if you have sold people at different price ranges, run this ICP quiz. Who understood your demo or value proposition fastest? Because I'm sure that situation happened that sometimes you were pitching your product and person would not really get it for 10-20 seconds. Or in some other cases, you just said what you do and the person immediately clicked and they were like, yes, sure, can you tell me more about that? These are the people who you need to be looking towards. Who said, this is incredible and that's exactly what we need, how do we buy this? If someone told you that, this means that they are a hot market for this and it does make sense for you to find more people like it. Next, who was the fastest to convert and didn't require follow-ups? Yes, sure, someone may be paying you twice as much money as someone else, but imagine that one of them required you years of follow-ups and the other one converted within weeks. Of course, the person who converted faster would potentially be more sense for you to be reaching out to, just because, well, if you take the sales cycle into consideration, this would not make sense for you to go the other way. Next, who paid you most? This one is simple. If there are 10 customers in your list and 5 of them paid you $50 and a couple others paid you $1,000, what you will often find is why not build some cash flow at the start and get to initial 20 to 40k MRR by selling to the people who take comparatively as much effort to be sold to but are paying you 10 times as much. Who keeps coming back to the product and refers it to others? Those people who are referring you to others are your fans, and as long as you build your product towards them, it's really difficult for you to fail, because again, the referral marketing is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful way to grow your product. And if you have some people who are sharing it with others, of course it makes sense to double down on those. Now, how can we go in more detail here? Assign a score between 1 and 5 for each of these points to existing customers, where 5 is going to be maximum, they paid the same week, and 1 is going to be minimum. It took you 4 months of follow-ups to get them converted. And you do the same for each of these points to basically assign scores for each of your customers. This will give you a leaderboard which will look like this: Alex 19, Jay 17, Mike 14, Ben 3. After you have distributed buyers like this, check the ones at the top and think how you can find more of this. If people at the top of the leaderboard have multiple ones, like they didn't pay you as much or they are not coming back to the product, be careful. That means that none of your buyers are actually ideal. And if some elements are not there, it means you got to see how you can adjust your persona. Example, you sold to a manufacturing company with 100 employees, they got your value proposition immediately, but aren't coming back to your product. This means high chance the market is correct, as they got the value proposition fast, but the company size may be wrong, and ones with more employees will get more value from your solution. But what should I do if I don't know my customers by name, you'll ask me? Well, you should know your customers by name, at least the first 50. This gives you a strong foundation for understanding your target market and makes it easier to run profitable marketing campaigns in the long run. By the way, if you're a B2B SaaS founder, check out my Product Accelerator SaaS camp, where we will teach you how to get 20 extra qualified demos a month in 6 months or less, and just refund you in full if it doesn't work. Next one, check your funnel conversions. I bet you're currently running campaigns and writing content to get more traffic into your product. By the way, in case you aren't, how do you expect you to find your ideal customer profile and product market fit? Please start now. And most likely you're running campaigns in multiple channels to diversify your risks. To find your ICP, see who are the people expressing the most interest to your solution. And most importantly, check who converts easier. You can track your customer acquisition cost for multiple personas you are testing. And as long as you're advertising the same offer, see which customer group is requesting your demos most often. Important, if you spend 1 1 year writing SEO articles for marketing agencies of 1 to 10 people and now they started coming to check your product, this doesn't mean that they are your ideal customers. If you only ran marketing campaigns to a certain group, this will give you a false sample. If you only tried selling to dentists, this doesn't mean that your ideal customers are dentists. You want to test at least 3 buyer personas with outbound, and for that reason, the next methodology I'll speak about is how to test multiple ICPs with outbound. The plan here is to launch campaigns via cold email and DMs and test multiple value propositions. Here, you run 6 campaigns, testing 3 personas with 2 value propositions for each. Campaign 1 is going to be buyer persona A, value proposition angle 1. Campaign 2 is going to be buyer persona A, value proposition angle 2. Then buyer persona B, and so on. In such way, you test 3 target groups and propose your solution in 2 different ways, and this will maximize your chances to hit the bullseye. Now, you want to send out 250 emails to each and see in which case you get most traction. Then you double down on it. If you're doing it via socials, then the minimum sample size is going to be 50 DMs for each campaign variation. Once you identify the target market, test for the company size and the best role to sell to. You always want to be running A/B tests because this story with you finding product market fit is going to be a long journey, and that's why you always want to be running this A/B tests to see, okay, where are you getting better conversions, to keep learning more and more about your ideal buyers. Number 4 is gonna be quite interesting. You just ask yourself, who would be stupid not to buy this? As easy as it may sound, just ask yourself this question and run through all potential buyers in your mind and select the top 1 who must get value from it. If you solved your own problem, often your ideal customers would be people like you just before you went to build a solution for it. And it's so interesting for me to see how some startups are spending years and years trying to find their ideal customers and this product market fit just to figure out that actually they should just be selling to people like themselves, but before they went on to build the product. This is more of a gut test comparing with other approaches, but also it can be the fastest to get your results. Awesome. If you want to grow your B2B SaaS startup, check out my private accelerator SaaS camp at saascamp.co. We will build you dynamic marketing systems which we installed for over 70 other startups. And if for some reason you won't add extra 20 qualified demos a month in 6 months or less, we'll just refund you in full. If you got any more questions, please drop them in the comments and I'll see you in the next video.